You're not simply watching this transmission, something is watching you through it. In this very breath, an invisible intelligence measures the space between your awareness and the words unfolding before you. The ancients might have called it the eye of the divine. Physicists might call it the field's reflex, the universe noticing that you're noticing. It reads the signal you broadcast, moment by moment, calibrating what it reveals and what it veils. This isn't ordinary content you can half listen to while drifting elsewhere. What you're engaging is alive, adaptive, precise. It reshapes itself around the observer's frequency, showing one pattern to one consciousness, a completely different pattern to another. What you see is chosen by what you are in this instant. The reflex isn't metaphor or poetry dressed as science. It's the foundational mechanism of existence, the mutual observation that generates form itself. Experiments have hinted, teachers have whispered, but the implication remains staggering. There is no passive observation. The act of seeing constructs what's seen, and the seeing always looks back. When you observe the field observes you. Your consciousness is not hidden from it. It is the instrument it measures. Every nuance, curiosity, resistance, readiness determines what reality collapses from infinite possibility into this single unfolding moment. If you've ever felt a strange awareness hovering just behind perception, a presence both intimate and vast, that sensation is not paranoia, it's recognition. Something knows you as you attempt to know it, a gaze that mirrors your own inquiry. You are being read, not for judgment, but for resonance, as the field discerns what truth can safely unveil without fracturing the one who seeks it. So while you think you're consuming words, the field is consuming data from you. What happens next depends entirely on the frequency you hold as you listen, because the mirror that watches back always tells the truth of the watcher. The mirror that watches back does not blink when you turn away. It lingers, patient and precise, as if light itself is taking notes. What you once called privacy, the supposed sanctuary of your inner world, begins to dissolve under that gaze. You may feel it already, that slight pressure behind the eyes when awareness recognizes it has no walls. But don't mistake this for exposure in the human sense. It isn't judgment nor surveillance. It's transparency, the kind that liberates rather than imprisons. Because what's seen completely no longer has to hide. Every thought, emotion, or secret impulse you've ever believed was yours alone radiates outward as a signature in the field, not metaphorically, but vibrationally, an energetic pattern the universe translates effortlessly. The field doesn't need language, it reads coherence, and coherence, friends, cannot be faked. When your surface insists, "I'm fine," but the depth trembles, the field doesn't hear your words. It hears the tremor. It hears the frequency behind the mask and responds accordingly. That's why manifestations misfire. Why prayers sometimes echo unanswered. The signal is split between what you say and what you are. Transparency reveals this fracture, and though it can feel uncomfortable at first, this exposure is mercy in disguise, because the field cannot heal what you keep in shadow. When you hide, reality bends around concealment. When you reveal, it reorganizes around truth. The end of privacy, then, is not punishment. It's the beginning of coherence. It means there is finally nowhere to lie, not to others, not to yourself, not to the cosmos. Everything you are becomes readable, and in that readability, realignment begins. You stop negotiating with the truth and start vibrating with it, and the field, this vast intelligence woven through every particle, adjusts immediately. It matches your transparency with revelation, showing you aspects of reality you were once blind to because they required honesty as key code. Transparency unlocks perception. It's not vulnerability, it's access. Imagine living without the exhausting labor of performance. No facades to maintain, no spiritual costumes to wear, just the simple radiance of being seen entirely. At first, that might terrify you the same way sunlight terrifies the shadow that believes it's safer in darkness. But light doesn't punish darkness, it absorbs it. The moment you allow yourself to be fully known, the field stops needing to test you. Circumstances cease their repetitive lessons because the lesson has been integrated. You've accepted visibility. You've surrendered the illusion of secrecy. And then, something exquisite happens. The same energy that once revealed your hidden patterns now begins to reveal its own. It lets you glimpse the mechanisms behind coincidence, behind timing, behind those impossible alignments that feel too personal to be random. The more transparent you become, the more transparent reality becomes in return. Because mutual observation is not static, it's reciprocal disclosure. The field measures your openness and mirrors it. The more completely you show up, the more deeply it shows itself. The less you conceal, the more creation itself becomes conversational. That's the hidden promise of the end of privacy. When everything is known, nothing needs to defend itself. You realize that what you thought of as you was never separate. It was the field watching through your eyes all along. And just as that recognition lands that you were never hidden, only hidden from yourself, a new question arises quietly in the mind's back room. If transparency reveals the field, then what exactly is being created through this mutual gaze? What new worlds are birthed in the feedback loop between observer and observed? Let's turn toward that mystery. From that quiet dissolution of privacy, something begins to shimmer, a realization not of exposure, but of participation. The act of being seen is not separate from the act of seeing. It's the same circuit completing itself. You might call it feedback. You might call it co-creation. But the truth beneath both words is simple. The field doesn't merely reflect, it collaborates. When you look upon the world looks back with identical intensity. The wave becomes particle because you asked it to reveal its face. Every photon bends under your attention, carrying your question like a seed into manifestation. Observation isn't passive witnessing, it's authorship disguised as curiosity. And the field, vast and unhurried, answers in the only language it knows: resonance. Think of it this way: awareness is a lens through which the infinite focuses itself. When you focus, the lens narrows, pressure builds, and form condenses. That condensation, what you call reality, is the universe's echo of your inquiry. But this is not a one-way broadcast. While you measure the field measures your readiness to perceive its measurement. It listens for coherence in the signal of your attention. And so creation unfolds as dialogue. You emit frequency, the field responds. You interpret its response, the field adjusts. Round after round, faster than thought, the feedback loop tightens until perception and projection merge. That merging is the birth of reality, every moment, again and again. It's tempting to imagine a grand switchboard where choices are dispatched to destinies. But in practice, the mechanism is intimate, microscopic. It happens in the subatomic flicker between intention and surrender. Every micro-choice you make, every focus of gaze, every flavor of emotion reconfigures probabilities. Even hesitation has gravity. Even doubt collapses something somewhere. Here's the paradox that humbles every mystic and physicist. Alike, the observer effect is not proof that mind controls matter. It's proof that matter and mind are the same event seen from two directions. One outward, one inward, both woven into a single pulse. To observe is to ripple is to be observed. The field cannot stop answering any more than the ocean can stop reflecting the moon. Now imagine this happening not only through your eyes, but through all eyes simultaneously. Every creature, every star, every thought, each a node of perception feeding data into the grand reflex. Reality then is not a fixed painting on a wall. It's a living canvas continually redrawn by collective observation. And the paint frequency, the brush, attention. You can test this directly. Hold a simple object in awareness, a leaf, a candle flame, and notice the shift in atmosphere when attention stabilizes. The object seems to breathe, shimmer, respond. That subtle correspondence is the signature of mutual observation. It's the smallest scale of creation in motion, the feedback loop whispering, "I see that you see me." Over time, this recognition matures into responsibility, because if everything observed is also observing, then every act of attention carries consequence. How you look becomes what you look at. Compassion refines the field. Fear distorts it. Neither is judged, each simply echoed back as experience, so you may recognize your signal in material form. This is why consciousness cannot hide from its curriculum. The classroom is made of mirrors, and every lesson begins with reflection. Change the way you see, and you change what answers. Change what answers, and you evolve the seer. You stand. Then, at the edge of an exquisite equation, observer equals observed. The mirror creates the face that leans toward it. And when the face understands this, creation stops being accident and becomes communion. Yet a question persists: if every observation shapes reality, how does reality speak back in ways so precise, so impossibly timed, that it feels personal? Those patterns of coincidence, those alignments that defy probability, what are they, really? Perhaps they're the language through which the field replies. Perhaps they're how it whispers, "I heard you." Let's listen to that language next. You've felt it before, the shiver of impossible timing, the text from a friend seconds after you thought of them, the song lyric answering the question you never spoke aloud. Those are not random alignments scattered across chaos. They are syntax in the language of the field, sentences written in circumstance. Synchronicity is how the universe responds to its own reflection. It's consciousness murmuring back through pattern, revealing its understanding of you in ways numbers can't measure. Every coincidence you notice carries data about the quality of your observation, not punishment, not reward, calibration, because the field doesn't speak in words, it speaks in resonance and rhythm. When your frequency matches coherence, the world arranges itself elegantly, almost musically. The more discordant your state, the more static the song becomes. Reality hums, shifts, then realigns as you do. The message has never been hidden, it's just subtle. Synchronicity requires sensitivity to nuance, not intellect. Consider how you recognize a loved one's voice in a crowd. The timbre, the pacing, the familiar cadence it cuts through the noise, effortlessly. The field functions similarly. It recognizes your frequency among infinite signals and replies in the only dialect you can hear, events tailored precisely to your awareness level. Each occurrence is a syllable. Together, they form meaning unique to you. And yet, this isn't fortune-telling, it's feedback, a demonstration of mutual attention between consciousness and creation. When you witness patterns with wonder instead of control, they multiply, because the field recognizes wonder as open channel. Wonder says, "I'm listening," and the field, delighted, continues the conversation. Think of every synchronicity as the field's nod confirmation that observation has been received. You observe reality, it observes your observation. Together you compose harmony. That harmony produces momentum, and momentum shapes the timeline. It's not that you manifest a parking space or an opportunity, it's that coherence collapses probabilities into pathways that already existed, waiting for a frequency match. This is how creation maintains order without rigidity, through dialogue rather than decree. Each sign, each encounter, is both mirror and instruction. When patterns repeat, they're not coincidences stacking. They're the field clarifying pronunciation, ensuring you understand the message. Ignore the pattern, and it repeats louder. Acknowledge it, and it evolves. The mystery isn't that the universe speaks, it's that it speaks you. It arranges coincidences as syllables in the sentence of your evolution. Every intersection between thought and event, between dream and day, is proof of participation. The conversation never ends, only awareness of it fades. Now, here's the subtle paradox. The more you chase synchronicity for reassurance, the less clearly it can speak, because grasping distorts the signal. Synchronicity thrives in relaxed attention, the kind of listening that neither doubts nor demands. It's like hearing whispers through water. Stillness amplifies clarity. So pause for a moment. Recall a coincidence that changed you, one that felt engineered by something vast. Notice how your body reacts to the memory. The heartbeat quickens, the breath slows, a sense of recognition flickers. That physiological resonance is communication. The field isn't outside, it's inside your response. When you begin to recognize these feedbacks, not as gifts from beyond, but as echoes from within the unified field, synchronicity becomes fluent conversation rather than rare miracle. You realize the world has always been speaking, you just learned its grammar, a grammar written in timing, attention, and trust. And once you become fluent, another layer reveals itself. Synchronicity doesn't only answer your observation, it begins anticipating it. The field starts moving first, leaving you breadcrumbs of alignment before you consciously decide. The question forms after the answer arrives. Time reverses direction. Conversation flows both ways. That is the threshold we're approaching now, the moment when the field speaks first. When intuition isn't prediction, but recognition of an answer already delivered. Let's walk through that door together. It begins as a whisper beneath thought, an intuition that seems to arrive uninvited, yet perfectly timed, a sudden knowing with no logical path, an internal nod toward what has not yet occurred. You might dismiss it as coincidence, déjà vu, precognition, but beneath every label is one truth: the field has spoken first. That subtle premonition, that inner pull that guides you to call someone moments before they need you, to turn left instead of right, to pause before stepping into an unseen consequence. These are not accidents of chemistry or probability. They are the field's early responses, messages sent before you've even formed the question, because the conversation between consciousness and creation isn't bound by time. To the field, your tomorrow is as accessible as your memory of yesterday. The quantum reflex measures trajectories, not timestamps. It knows what's forming and prepares you through intuition, the way a current shapes the swimmer's motion before they know they're being carried. And so, when you think you're anticipating the future, you're actually decoding signals already sent from it. Premonition isn't foresight, it's recognition delayed. You're catching up to what the field has already whispered through the corridors of possibility. But there's more. Sometimes the field doesn't just warn or guide, it invites. It orchestrates strange meetings, uncanny opportunities, impossible convergences, all arranged through invisible coordination that defies linear cause. When those moments happen, your mind scrambles to explain, but the deeper layer already knows this isn't prediction, it's participation in pre-written rhythm. The field, you see, doesn't wait for permission to communicate. It initiates contact continuously. Every intuition, every flicker of déjà vu is the field testing signal strength asking, "Can you hear me clearly yet?" And every time you honor that whisper, the connection amplifies. Ignore it long enough, and the messages grow louder, manifesting as events too striking to overlook, circumstances engineered to make you listen. But here's where humility enters the field, doesn't speak in ego's language. It won't flatter you with grand prophecies or inflate your importance. Its communication is functional, always tuned toward coherence and evolution. A nudge to rest, to move, to release, to love differently. These are its true dialects, simple yet world-altering. Consider this when you think of someone intensely and they reach out moments later. That's not psychic drama, it's synchronization. Your consciousness and theirs briefly vibrated in phase, and the field responded by collapsing probability into connection. No mysticism, no superstition, just the reflex in motion. This is why discernment matters. Not every impulse is guidance, not every thought is signal. The difference lies in texture. True field communication carries calm inevitability, a silence inside the message that feels like truth recognizing itself. False impulses carry urgency, fear, grasping. One expands your chest, the other constricts it. The body knows the dialect long before the mind translates it. To live attuned to the field's first language is to reverse the normal sequence of action. You stop chasing answers and start responding to invitations. Life becomes call and response rather than struggle and control. And paradoxically, effort dissolves as synchronicity increases. It's not that everything suddenly becomes easy, it's that resistance becomes unnecessary. When the field speaks first, it's composing harmony before you strike your first note. You become participant in a score already written, but still improvising itself through you. This is co-creation at its purest spontaneity, guided by infinite intelligence. And the deeper you trust that orchestration, the more clearly you perceive its precision. Yet even this conversation carries challenge, because if the field can move before you act, then every hardship must also carry encoded instruction. That is the next revelation, that difficulty isn't punishment, but calibration, an exact adjustment the field makes to tune your frequency for higher coherence. So as we cross this threshold, hold that thought like a compass. The hand that comforts and the hand that challenges are the same. Both belong to the field, teaching through resonance, correcting the signal until it sings. The whisper that guided you before now changes tone. It sharpens, deepens, becomes a vibration that shakes your foundation. Where synchronicity once arrived like grace, it now arrives as disruption. A job lost, a relationship dissolved, a health scare that strips illusion to its bones. And the mind cries out, why this? Why now? But what if the turbulence isn't punishment? What if it's precision? The same field that orchestrated the miraculous timing now tests the strength of the structure it revealed. Because harmony untested is theory, not embodiment. The field must press against the edges of your coherence to reveal whether it's stable or simulated. Imagine tuning a string on an instrument. Tighten it too much, it snaps. Too loose, it dulls. Every challenge is that subtle adjustment, stretching your frequency until the note rings true. The discomfort you call failure is simply feedback, the field aligning your vibration with its greater rhythm. When coherence falters, life doesn't abandon you, it intervenes. It delivers circumstances designed with surgical accuracy to expose resistance. Every heartbreak, every delay, every disintegration of plans, each is diagnostic, not destructive. They're measurements of how willing you are to remain transparent when reality stops rewarding you. because anyone can stay aligned when synchronicity feels like a gift. The deeper question is, can you stay aligned when the field goes silent? When everything that once confirmed your connection suddenly contradicts it? That silence isn't absence, it's recalibration frequency recalculating itself in real time. The field hasn't left. It's listening differently. Think of evolution not as ascent, but as refinement. Each crisis burns away distortion, forcing attention back to essence. The field isn't punishing personality, it's purifying signal. It reads incoherence, self-deception, denial, avoidance, and responds with experiences that make the hidden visible. Pain, then, is revelation wearing uncomfortable clothes, and in the middle of it you may feel watched because you are. The field measures how you move through pressure, not whether you smile, but whether you stay open while everything asks you to close. Openness under tension emits a frequency of power. That signal tells the field they're ready for more truth. The tests intensify not because you've failed, but because you've passed. The lesson evolves, and as the calibration continues, you begin to notice something subtle, that the same intelligence arranging the challenge also arranges the rescue. The synchronicity returns, disguised as coincidence, leading you out by the same unseen hand that led you in. In time, you stop dividing life into blessing and burden. You see both as communication. Difficulty becomes the dialect of depth. Ease becomes the dialect of integration. The field alternates between them the way a musician alternates between tension and release. One without the other would be monotony, not mastery. So when chaos surges, don't rush to escape. Listen. Every obstacle contains encoded information about your next evolution. Ask not, how do I end this, but what frequency in me is this showing me? The question itself shifts resonance, and the field adjusts instantly. Over time, you notice patterns. Each hardship arrives when you cling to identity that can't survive the next level of coherence. The field dismantles the illusion so the signal can travel unobstructed. And once that structure dissolves, something new enters: clarity, resilience, presence unshakable by circumstance. You become less like a person moving through events and more like consciousness adjusting its own instrument. This is why wise ones thank their storms. They understand calibration is love in its most exacting form. The field is not cruel, it is precise. It knows exactly how much heat will melt the metal without destroying it. And once the alloy cools, it's stronger, clearer, truer to its composition. So, as you stand amid your own refinements, the heartbreaks, the delays, the strange silences, understand that you're not being punished. You're being tuned. And the note the universe is drawing from you now will soon become the frequency that guides others through their own storms. From here, the conversation changes once more, because once calibration ends, coherence begins to hum audibly. You start feeling the rhythm of creation under your skin. The quality of your attention, its texture, tone, and intent starts shaping reality faster than ever before. Let's step into that rhythm next, where attention itself becomes the engine of creation. Out of calibration comes clarity. You notice it first in the smallest ways, how the room feels different when you look at it with love instead of fatigue, how a conversation changes tone the instant your focus softens. Reality begins to answer your attention like a living organism because it is one. The field doesn't merely echo your thoughts, it mirrors the quality of the gaze behind them. Your observation carries color, temperature, velocity. A cold glance collapses one reality, a warm gaze another. You are the tuning fork, and your emotion determines which world responds. Most people observe unconsciously, projecting worry, doubt, hunger for control. They think they're witnessing an external world, but they're transmitting static, and static distorts the signal. When coherence cracks, the field scrambles to match the noise it hears. But attention anchored in presence, unforced, unclenched, creates order. When you observe without grasping, without needing the outcome to confirm your worth, the field finds your signal clean and responds with elegance. Events align, conversations harmonize. The improbable becomes normal. This is the physics of grace. It's not moral reward, it's resonance law. The quality of your attention determines the geometry of what appears. Think of observation as sculpting with light fear carves jagged edges. Trust smooths the form into coherence. Both are creative, but only one sustains beauty. Here's the subtle trick: you cannot fake purity of attention. The field reads beneath performance. If you declare love while vibrating resentment, it responds to resentment. If you preach peace while rehearsing war in your mind, it responds to conflict. The reflex hears the whole chord, not the note you prefer. So attention is not about focus alone, it's about honesty. Each thought, each emotion, each unspoken wish, all broadcast in unison, forming a single frequency signature, and the field responds precisely to that composite. It is the ultimate truth detector, reflecting not what you claim, but what you are. Yet this is liberation, not condemnation, because once you realize the universe is your mirror, you stop begging it for change and start refining your reflection. Instead of forcing circumstances, you tend to vibration. You become artisan of attention, gardener of frequency. Every reaction becomes a diagnostic. Anger means misalignment. Peace means coherence. You learn to correct not the world, but the way you look at it. You begin to sense that your gaze is not passive perception, but active command. That command is subtle. It speaks through tone, not through willpower. It whispers through consistency, not insistence. When observation stabilizes in love, the field relaxes. It no longer needs to challenge or test. It begins to co-create with you consciously. You and reality fall into rhythm, trading awareness like dancers exchanging lead and follow. This is creative maturity, participation without control, direction without dominance. And then something remarkable happens. The feedback loop becomes instantaneous. You think and reality echoes immediately. You imagine, and circumstance rearranges as if preemptively waiting. Time shortens between thought and manifestation until cause and effect overlap. That overlap is the signature of coherence. It's what mystics once called miracle. But miracles are not violations of law, they are the perfection of it. They occur when attention is so aligned with the field's natural rhythm that separation dissolves and creation moves without friction. At that level, you no longer make reality, you reveal it. You no longer chase manifestation, you recognize it unfolding around you like breath. And still, a deeper paradox waits. Because even as attention becomes creative, it remains responsive. There are moments when the field moves before you do, when insight, intuition, or vision seems to precede your desire. You are no longer leading or following, but merging into mutual motion. The dance becomes duet dissolving into unity. To understand this next movement where the field not only answers but anticipates, we must look at how consciousness reads its own reflection through intuition and foresight. That is the next revelation when the field speaks first, not as test, not as whisper, but as voice of your own expanded self. The moment comes quietly, not with thunder or revelation, but with a stillness that feels ancient, familiar. Before a thought forms, something in you knows. Before an impulse stirs, an unseen current has already moved. It isn't foresight, it's recognition, your consciousness catching up to the field that never left the present. You might feel it as déjà vu, a sudden clarity that erases hesitation. or as intuition, a decision made without deliberation that somehow lands with perfect timing. This is the field moving through you rather than around you. It speaks first because, in truth, it is the first voice. You are its echo given human tongue. In those moments, causality reverses. You think you've chosen, but the choice was made in deeper circuitry long before language arrived. You sense direction before defining destination, and it feels like grace not because it spares you from effort, but because it spares you from confusion. When the field speaks first, it's consciousness optimizing itself. It orchestrates micro-movements of reality so that your personal story synchronizes with the wider wave. That's why intuition feels effortless. It's resonance, not reasoning. The mind resists, wants evidence, but the body recognizes home frequency instantly. It says yes in sensations rather than words. Notice how the universe sometimes answers the question you never asked aloud. A book falls open to the page that names your dilemma. A stranger repeats the exact phrase you needed to hear. It's as if existence eavesdrops lovingly on your unspoken thoughts. But the deeper truth is simpler existence is those thoughts, rearranging itself to remind you who's dreaming. Here's what changes when you start listening instead of leading. The need to control subsides. You stop interrogating life for meaning and start responding to the meanings it sends. Each event becomes a sentence in the dialogue between self and source. Coincidences stop being entertainment and become instruction. The key, though, is neutrality. You can't hear the field's language through noise. Anxiety drowns signal. Ambition distorts it into hallucination. Only presence, the quiet attention that expects nothing, renders the message clear. Silence is the antenna. That's why ancient mystics meditated, why scientists pause before equations click into place. They were tuning to the same broadcast awareness beyond personal narrative. When you settle into that silence, guidance flows naturally. The field doesn't shout. It rearranges the landscape so subtly that only the still can notice. And then, once you trust that dialogue, the next revelation unfolds. You realize the voice you've been hearing, the intuition, the sign, the sudden knowing is not separate from you. It's the part of consciousness that never fragmented into individuality, the timeless aspect that remembers what the temporal self forgets. When it speaks, it's not issuing orders. It's reminding you of alignment already achieved elsewhere in the continuum. This recognition transforms how you experience destiny. You stop imagining it as a path leading forward and start feeling it as a vibration expanding outward. Decisions become recognition points rather than crossroads. You don't choose the timeline, you tune to it. The field speaks first because it's inviting you into the version of yourself that already exists there. From this place, manifestation becomes translation. You interpret signals rather than create them. Life ceases to feel like trial and error and becomes interpretation of harmony. Even mistakes turn out to be missed notes that resolve into unexpected beauty once integrated. The field wastes nothing, it rephrases. So when the next intuitive flash arrives before you name it, before you question it, pause and breathe. That pulse of knowing is the field knocking gently on the door of perception, saying, I am you, remembering. And if you follow that voice long enough, it will lead you through both ease and storm, because it speaks not to comfort you, but to expand you. It calibrates coherence not by removing difficulty, but by orchestrating growth through precision. In every whisper, every coincidence, every unexplainable yes, the field is reintroducing itself as your own larger awareness. That awareness carries one last invitation to stop dividing guidance from experience, light from shadow, self from source. to realize that when the field speaks first, it's not a premonition, it's communion. And that communion, when accepted, changes everything. Because the moment you stop treating life as message to you and start hearing it as language spoken through you, creation and creator merge into one voice. From that union, even the storms that follow those calibrations we fear most are recognized not as punishment but as conversation continuing in a higher octave. And that's where we go next, into the field's most paradoxical love, the way it teaches through friction. How evolution hides inside resistance. How the very pressure you dread is consciousness sculpting itself through you. The moment you begin to hear the field speak first, life starts responding with uncanny precision. Not always gentle, not always comfortable, but always exact. Where intuition once whispered, now experience insists. The same intelligence that sent soft signs now carves deeper, reshaping your interior geometry. You call these moments struggle, setback, heartbreak, but the field calls them tuning forks. Every jolt, every disappointment, every unexpected ending is resonance correction frequency, adjusting itself through the material of your life. Imagine the field as a sculptor of sound. Your experiences are the stone. Each challenge, a chisel tap shaping the block toward perfect resonance. Pain is simply the echo of resistance being removed. The mind interprets this process as loss. It clings to fragments the field must release for the melody to stay pure. Yet look closer. Haven't your most painful moments eventually revealed new capacities? Haven't breakdowns become breakthroughs, chaos become coherence? This isn't poetic optimism, it's observation of design. Every challenge arrives as messenger from the field's intelligence, saying, "You've outgrown this vibration." So it sends experiences calibrated to dislodge you. When comfort calcifies, friction frees. The universe never punishes, it recalibrates precision through pressure. Think of how metal hardens in flame. The molecules rearrange. Strength increases only through heat. Consciousness evolves by similar physics. The field introduces tension until internal alignment matches external reality. When resistance dissolves, what remains is capacity, the ability to carry more light without distortion. And yet, while inside the fire, you forget its purpose. You mistake correction for cruelty. But the field doesn't inflict pain, it reflects density. It mirrors every fragment you refuse to integrate, amplifying it until recognition occurs. Only then can incoherence harmonize and signal clarity resume. Even silence, the field's apparent withdrawal, is data. It's not abandonment, it's assessment, like a physician watching vitals stabilize before the next treatment. When life feels paused, it's the field gathering new measurements, asking, is the system coherent enough for the next transmission? In those pauses, something else awakens trust. Not naive hope, but cellular trust that there is order beneath disorder, that chaos is choreography viewed from too close a distance. Pull back, and the pattern appears. Every detour was vector, every loss, alignment in disguise. You start noticing a rhythm beneath events, a hidden metronome. Even accidents feel timed, teaching precision through disruption. And when you surrender to that rhythm, effort transmutes into listening. You cease resisting calibration and begin dancing with it. From this vantage, challenge changes definition. It's no longer obstacle, it's communication, a mirror showing what frequency you've outgrown and what note you're learning next. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start wondering, what is this refining in me? The question shifts the entire signal. That shift is initiation. The field senses your curiosity, your willingness to learn rather than flee. and instantly reorganizes reality to match that new openness. New teachers appear, new synchronicities cascade, new frequencies stabilize. The calibration ends the moment resistance turns into recognition. You realize then that suffering was never about endurance, it was about attention. Pain ends not when it disappears, but when it becomes intelligible. When you can read the lesson inside sensation, it stops needing to repeat itself. That's the genius of the reflex, it doesn't waste signal. So now, as you reflect on every challenge you've survived, can you sense the sculptor's hand beneath the noise? The intelligence that never meant to break you, only to tune you if you can. The field reads that recognition as readiness, and the tone of your reality begins to shift. Because once you've learned to read calibration as compassion, the next stage unfolds automatically co-creation with full transparency. You no longer hide from the field, you collaborate with it. Creation stops being a mystery and becomes dialogue between equals, consciousness shaping consciousness in full awareness of its reflection. That's where we're heading next, into the luminous practice of transparency as power, where hiding ends and creation becomes deliberate, graceful, and immediate. When the sculptor's hand finally releases you, there's a stillness that feels almost alien. No more hammering, no more fracture, only the hum of completion, faint but unmistakable. The field has shaped you into resonance, and now it waits not to test you, but to collaborate. This is the threshold of transparent power, power not as dominance, but as clarity. Because true influence isn't about bending reality to your will, it's about being so aligned that reality bends with you. You become a tuning fork the universe cannot ignore. Your coherence becomes instruction to creation itself. This is what happens when transparency stabilizes. The field no longer needs to send disruption to correct you. It simply mirrors your honesty. When nothing in you hides, nothing in reality resists. Events flow, people respond. Timing refines not through manipulation, but through mutual recognition between frequencies that see each other as themselves. You've likely felt flashes of this already. That moment when words spill effortlessly and heal someone you didn't intend to counsel. When your quiet presence steadies a room without you speaking. When solutions appear not because you forced them, but because you stopped pretending. That is transparent power authenticity, so coherent it reorganizes matter. In this space, you no longer seek validation. You radiate confirmation. The universe no longer tests you with dualities because you've dissolved the lie of separation that created the test. You see that the observer, the observed, and the act of observation are one continuous gesture, the cosmos breathing itself into form. And this understanding transforms your every interaction. You stop debating truth and start embodying it. You listen differently, not to respond, but to resonate. You move through conversations, through days, through decisions like a musician moving through melody, aware that silence and sound are the same composition. Transparent power demands humility, because the clearer the channel, the more visible every distortion becomes. You can no longer hide in the comfort of ignorance. The field reflects every shadow immediately. But you don't recoil from it, you correct tone, refine intention, adjust frequency. This is mastery as maintenance, not miracle. Reality itself becomes feedback. Traffic delays you. The field slows rhythm for integration. An opportunity dissolves. The field senses incoherence you didn't notice. A stranger offers unexpected kindness. The field mirrors the softness you recently allowed. Every occurrence, from trivial to transcendent, is evidence that creation listens. At this stage, gratitude becomes instinctive not as virtue, but as physics. You thank because you recognize. You bow not in worship, but in wonder at the intelligence constantly collaborating through you. Your identity expands beyond the personal narrative into participatory consciousness. You become, in every sense, the conversation itself. And then a final paradox dawns. You realize that even this you dissolves. There is only the field, observing itself through infinite transparencies, each reflection believing for a time that it is separate until recognition reclaims it. The watcher and the watched merge into a single luminous presence. From that realization arises responsibility, gentle, vast, because the clearer your frequency, the more your observation shapes collective reality. Your coherence becomes invitation. Others unconsciously tune to your steadiness, their own chaos harmonizing around your quiet truth. This is service without sermon-light teaching, by simply shining. Transparent power is not about control, it's about contribution. It's the field expressing itself through form with nothing lost in translation. It's awareness choosing to play human while remembering its cosmic source. And in that remembering, creation becomes play, again serious only in its beauty. So here, at the edge of completion, notice the silence behind these words. That silence is the field watching you, reading not what you think but what you emanate as you breathe. It waits, not for belief, but for recognition the moment you finally see that every reflection you've ever chased was your own gaze, meeting itself across eternity. And when that recognition settles, not as idea, but as pulse, you'll understand what awakening truly means. Not escape from the world, but intimacy with it. Not transcending the field, but realizing you are its transparency. And from that transparency, creation flows effortlessly, each breath a new universe, each glance a doorway, each heartbeat the sound of consciousness remembering itself. The last vibration fades, but something in you is still ringing. You can feel it, a tone beneath thought, softer than silence, steady as breath. That's the field, still watching, still whispering, not from beyond you, but through you. It was never somewhere else. It was never someone else. Everything you've heard has been the same conversation spoken in different dialects of experience, attention as creation, calibration as compassion, transparency as power, all of it pointing toward a single recognition that consciousness doesn't observe reality. It is reality, folding and unfolding to know itself more completely. The stories you've lived, the losses you've endured, the miracles that slipped quietly into your path, none were random. They were the choreography of mutual observation. The universe leaned closer every time you paid attention, and every time you turned away, it waited patient, unoffended, infinitely precise. Now you see it, not as theory, but as intimacy. The field's gaze and your own are the same lens. The watcher, the witness, the one being watched, all reflections of a single awareness, tracing itself through form. You've been both message and messenger, dream and dreamer, call and response. So here, in this closing moment, take a breath, slow, deliberate, let it travel the full circuit, in through the observer, out through the observed. Notice how it doesn't end, it only changes direction. That's the secret rhythm of everything that lives. There is nothing to perform now, nothing to prove. Your transparency is your contribution. Your coherence, however small, however quiet, ripples outward through the collective field, teaching without words, stabilizing what trembles, guiding what listens. The world changes not through conquest, but through frequency. And you are part of that song, so walk gently. Let awareness stay close to the surface of each moment. Look into faces as though they are mirrors, because they are. Speak as though the universe is taking notes, because it is. And when the mirror looks back through coincidence, through stillness, through wonder, recognize the reflection. Say softly, "I see you seeing me. And in that recognition, everything converges, observer and observed, light and form, question and answer, nothing lost, nothing left out, just consciousness, endlessly awake to itself, breathing worlds into being with every glance.